Do you find that a company like Robinhood got? I mean, they weren't the only brokerage that was in that position when a few weeks ago the entire fiasco went down with GameStop and trips to the moon and whatnot. Like, do you feel that they were just got caught because they were one of the bigger players, or what were your initial feelings when you heard about those stories developing?
That it exposed the weakness of their business model. You know, they came in with this, hey, we're free, we don't charge you commissions, and everybody else, ultimately had to, or a lot of other players ultimately had to kind of concede to that. But those other firms, like the big ones, Schwab and Fidelity, they didn't rely strictly on payment for order flow uh, like Robinhood did. And on top of that, in terms of the margin requirements, what Robinhood was just way out of line compared to what a Fidelity, Merrill Lynch, or or Charles Schwab might have. And so the the debacle kind of exposed the weakness of Robinhood's business model more so than anything else. I don't think they were evil in doing what they did. I just think they've been poorly managed in terms of the execution. Their messaging during the debacle was absolutely horrible. But on the other hand, they found themselves between the rock and the hard place, and had to react the way they did. That I don't think any other management team would have made any other decision at that point in time. But a better management team would have had better foresight into, where is this thing heading, and what would happen if XYZ happened.
Right.
And boy, we'd be really screwed. So let's go take some steps to prevent that. Really poor, risk management, because any good risk manager would have been able to kind of foresee the problems that they didn't foresee.
I watched an interview on the interview was on YouTube, but it was from the Clubhouse app, and it was the interview between Elon Musk and the CEO of Robinhood. His name is Vlad, actually, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
And Elon was basically asking him, like, what happened? Why did you stop the trading? Right? It was really interesting to see him in that interviewer mode. But the answers were essentially that there was a requirement for by the clearinghouse, with all this volume of trading came in, that they had to pay, I think, $3 billion or something like that because of this super large amount of trading. And the company up to that point had raised a total of 2 billion. So they basically had no choice, at least based on that explanation. Is this something that could have been prevented if they had that foresight that you mentioned?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If not prevented, at least foreseen. Good risk management should have been able to say, okay, what if this happens, or at what level? And there was no foresight on it, and there doesn't seem to have been any trigger that said, hey, wait, this is rising to the point where we're getting close to a margin requirement that we're not going to be able to pay out on. Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying, is that it absolutely should have been. This was a foreseeable event, and with better risk management and risk controls, there should have been triggers that would have kicked in long before it got to the point that it did.